Hello, welcome to a Feminism podcast. Heard not seen. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Paleni.
Hi, Ndapwa. Hi, Brigit.
Hey, P.
How's it going?
It's good. What was that?
That was my opening for this week.
I love it. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it every week?
I think I'm gonna do it every week. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be fresh, spontaneous. It's gonna be fantastic.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's sensual. I love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, welcome everybody to our first episode of Heard Not Seen, which is a feminist podcast produced in Namibia by Namibians.
Word.
Woo!
Woo!
And just for everyone at home, we're drinking champagne.
Yeah, cheersing.
Cheers.
I'm drinking water because I'm healthy.
How good for you.
It's delicious.
Why are you lying to our listeners? Just for
It's
the record.
champagne.
Just for the record, she's not drinking water.
No, she's not.
I have drunk a lot of water today, though.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you so
that's
much.
wonderful.
Hydration.
So, guys, why are we here? Why this podcast? What's going on? Why did we decide to do this?
What is this?
What is it?
Guys, what are we doing? We set up all this equipment and do we...
No.
No, okay. Do you
Yeah.
want to, Paleni?
No, I've spoken a lot already.
Okay, well,
so
then
you
I
go
guess
for it.
I'll go.
Mhm.
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say we listen to a lot of podcasts, and we love podcasts, but there's not really a lot in terms of options with, podcasts, Namibian or even African content. I mean, there is, but it's,
Sure.
I think a little bit more
Yeah,
difficult to find.
that's really well put. I just want to.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I was mumbling.
Good point is what I mean.
Oh, thank you.
Very good point. No, I feel like we need a Namibian podcast.
Yeah.
More Namibian podcasts. I think there's one or two.
Yeah, sure.
There's a German one.
We're not going to plug other people's podcasts in our podcast.
Not in the first episode.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I just want to join a lot of the conversations I'm listening to.
Yeah.
My podcast. I listen to a lot of feminist stuff, and I feel like let's join that conversation.
Yeah, and do it in a Namibian context, right?
Right, and have fun.
And have fun.
Drink champagne.
Not drink champagne, not be too serious, but the whole point is just for us to discuss things that are affecting us as women living in Namibia, but and sometimes discuss the ridiculousness of the stuff that's going on.
Sure.
Note I put the word dick in there. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, it's our first date.
It's our
Thank
first
you.
dick joke. So, Brigit, who are you and why are you here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to know? You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Why this topic? Why?
I want to know why this topic and why, where do you feel like your expertise come into this discussion?
Fancy.
Oh, I didn't want to go there. Look, my day job, for anyone listening who doesn't know me, is I work in the development gender field. So I get a bit tired. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I have to be very politically correct a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I've got to, it's obviously a very sensitive topic to a lot of ears, There's only a certain way you can talk about gender and gender relations and men and women and sexuality, and you've got to tiptoe, and you know the jargon. It's like changing gender norms, behaviors and attitudes, and I'm tired of that. I want to have the conversations that I want to have with people who want to listen.
Yeah.
I want to subvert, I want to challenge, I want to question, I want to blow things up, and I feel like that's what this platform can give us.
Yeah.
I can go on, but in a nutshell.
Well, it was beautifully said. Well
I
done.
love your energy.
Beautifully put, yes.
Yes.
And Ndapwa, tell us your story.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Ndapwa. I am here also.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Sagittarius, but I feel like I'm a Capricorn.
That's nice.
In my mind.
Okay.
But we can talk about
You
that another
identify
time.
as a Capricorn.
I identify as a Capricorn, but
Identity
like,
is important.
on
yeah.
paper, I'm a Sag, but I like to subvert the
What
norms.
which shape is a Sag?
It's the archer with the guy with the...
And what don't you like about Sages?
They keep saying that they're like super adventurous and like they just like take chances and like jump off cliffs and stuff. And no, I don't do that.
That's
I like
not
to
you.
stay at home and lock my doors and worry about getting murdered and just watch TV and listen to my K-pop.
You're more
Anyway,
of a goat.
yeah, I'm more of a goat. Is a Capricorn a goat? Oh, I didn't even know that. You see? I used to have a goat. Neither here nor there. So, basically...
Wow.
What has brought me here is I feel like I listen to a lot of podcasts and it feels like I'm listening to friends of mine having conversations, and I almost always want to, like, as I'm listening, I'm like chiming in like, oh my gosh, yes, I agree. And I thought, why not just actually record the conversations we already have and share them with the world because our insights are so valuable and important. That last part was sarcasm.
I felt like it was real. Came
I feel
from
like
a
it was
deep
real.
place.
Look, because I respect your insights so much.
Thank you.
So
Why?
I don't know.
Because she makes a lot of eye contact when she
She
makes
does,
statements,
it's
and you
probably-
believe her.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's all body language. I'm slowly inceptioning you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Paleni, I would love if you could just tell us your journey.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My journey is that I have been angry for a very long time, for as long as I can remember. Because I'm just like, I think for me the reason why I'm here is because I sort of like, as I grew up, I realized that being a woman is like not a good time, and it's been consistent, and it's been, and especially in the cultural landscape of in Namibia, for example, it's horribly tricky to navigate yourself publicly, especially when you're dealing with all these different cultural norms and expectations and all of that stuff. So I'm here to sort of, this is therapy essentially. I'm here to process my anger,
Beautiful.
accept it, and disseminate it.
Oh,
sure.
And yes, and also I'm the communications person of the group, so I thought it was important to have a chatty Cathy on the chat.
Wait, you think you're the chatty
Already?
Cathy?
I'm definitely the chatty Cathy of the
Okay,
group.
well, challenge accepted, and I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's see.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
But you know what I think is also cool is I'm hoping that out of this podcast, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, that we're going to create some kind of community.
Yeah.
So as much as it's therapy for you, it would be awesome if people can send us messages, get involved, tell us what they want us to talk about, tell us what we've said that's offended, tell us what's... And also, if you're not into it, don't listen as well. That's part of it for me, too.
Yeah, very big disclaimer. If it's not your thing, please don't tell us it is not your thing. You can
And
just
we will
not
let
listen.
you go in peace. It's
That's
all good.
totally fine.
Yeah,
But this might all be too early. We might not have anyone listening to
That's
us.
what
to all of our fans, to our thousands of followers.
Literally, we'll send this to all our friends and be like, if you don't listen,
Guys,
and like this on social
tell your
media.
moms.
Let's
tell
return to
your
this in episode,
parents.
Yeah, like maybe a couple episodes.
If
Let's do that later. All right, so obviously we want to talk about feminism. So the question is, what is it? And how do we classify it for ourselves?
Oh. Yes.
Shall I start? Or
Please,
Brigit?
yeah, okay. Who do you want to start? Communications officer?
Yeah. Hey, Kathy. Do you want to go?
I'm going to call myself Kathy.
Yes,
That's
please
good.
do.
For me, feminism is, a multitude of things that has, it's got to do with identity. It's got to do with physicality. It's got to do with society. It's across the board. And I think feminism is the space that women are trying to create for themselves in this world for equality. Equality in terms of over their bodies, equality over the workspaces, over public spaces. For me, feminism is basically so many things, but for me what stands out the most is basically just don't harass me. I'd like to exist without any kind of harassment.
Yeah.
And in Windhoek, unfortunately, that is not really...
Windhoek,
Namibia is not commonplace, It's
Yeah.
men just have this... some men, sorry, I apologize, I'm not going to generalize again. But
I will.
some men... some men feel like they have, autonomy over your body. And over the space that you... have you noticed how close men stand next to you?
Just all up inside your business.
Inside your business. And you're like, why are you breathing on my
cheek
neck,
to cheek.
sir?
It's not nice.
So, so I think for me, feminism is about equality. It's about representation. It's about identity. But it's also about a safe space. So that's how I define it, which is obviously all the actual academics. Please don't come for me.
Oh my God. Can I come for you?
Yes,
well, I'm
please
not
do.
really an academic. But, excuse me, just right in the mic there, it's nice. So the way I understand feminism, feminism came, I think, quite late to me. If you had asked me 10 years ago, when I was but a babe of that age that I was that time, I would have said that feminists, I'm sure that they're it's cool, but they're so mad, and do they not shave? What's up with that? Don't they want to get married?
So
and
much
just
hair.
Yeah, so much hair. What's up with that? And they just want to have afros, and it's weird. I was a fool, and I fully admit that. But I was lucky enough to get to do a humanities degree where I was like, oh guys, did you know that power structures are bad, and that women are at the bottom of a lot of things, and then black women especially, hey. And so feminism for me was the simultaneous process of like learning about it, like in the academic space, but then also like reframing the way I saw the world and seeing interactions with people and with men in such a different light, and thinking like, oh, now that I know what power dynamic this is like feeding into, I know why I'm so mad all the time, but I didn't actually have like, you know, sort of the words to describe it. So it's like, it's like simultaneously, like I'm trying to learn more about feminism, because like this, it's like a never-ending conversation.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But then you're also just trying to live your life day to day and not, you know, get murdered. So
Or murder someone.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
Brigit.
Okay, so I have a very similar feeling, Ndapwa. Like, I feel like feminism for me is it's like a vehicle or a tool where I can express, feel, understand inequality, essentially. There isn't really another thing, right? Is there? I mean, real academics out there can come and get me, as you said, but feminism started off as a women's liberation thing, and it still very much is. But it's also something where one can look at race, and one can look at class, and one can look at other discriminatory ways in the world. And I think from an early age that was something that always really bothered me. Inequality, essentially. So for me, that's what feminism does. It gives me a language, it gives me a community, it gives me a way of understanding inequality in our world. And I think that's where people get it wrong. You know, that's what it is. And people think it's about angry women trying to tear men down.
Yeah.
And that is obviously an element of it, because there's a lot of inequality between men and women.
Yeah.
But it isn't that. It's a wonderful, fabulous tool and language that brings people together and is all about equality and unity in a better world.
Yeah.
Amen.
Jesus Christ, Brigit, you are beautiful. Work. I literally was like, oh, she's married, but I would marry her.
That's beautiful.
That was great. No, and you hit it. I mean, I'm just realizing now that I started off by going, I'm angry. And then we're like, feminists aren't all angry. And then I was like,
sometimes they
hi,
are.
in the back, I'm here.
But I think that's what we're here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people have the wrong perception of feminists and feminism. I'm wearing bright red lipstick.
Yeah.
I'm a feminist, but
Yeah.
I love my red lipstick.
100%.
I did feel really uncomfortable the first day I ever wore it. Felt like a clown. But now I own it.
It looks great, darling.
That like first day you put bright
Like,
lipstick
how
on.
do I get it inside the lines?
And I look
then
weird.
you can just
Yeah,
feel
like,
it.
Jesus, this is what my face looks like with makeup
I'm
on.
gonna leave the house looking like a sex worker.
I mean, jeez, but
no,
correct.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what excites me about feminism.
Yeah.
You know, but there's pitfalls though.
100%, yeah.
It's not always that inclusive, and there's a lot of internal fighting within it.
Yeah, and everyone sort of, I mean, as we were saying, it's like, also there's some people just don't want to be labeled as feminists, even though what they do is they practice feminism, but it's kind of like self-identifying in a sense. Like, people can somehow not necessarily call themselves feminists, but they act as feminists.
Yeah.
So, and men can be feminists too, although,
Sure.
I mean...
I'm a little bit suspicious,
shady.
but like, it's great. Like, stand in your truth, and that's nice. But if a man is like, I'm a feminist, and I want to almost hear less from him, because I'm like, surely if you're a feminist, you know you should be mostly listening and also talking to other men.
Yeah.
And going to, like, you know, what's the word? Prophesy? Is that a word?
Yes, go prophesize to them brethren.
Yes, yeah, just go to handle your dudes, and
Yeah.
then, like, you know, like, so that I don't have to go and do that.
Yeah.
That's what I would appreciate from male feminists.
Which is very rare that I mean, I know of one instance where I had a friend who had a problematic male friend, obviously, and he kind of went up to him, because obviously for the longest time we've been talking. I feel like sometimes men don't hear us when we talk to them directly.
Yeah.
Something like that dog whistles, like, they're like, no, I'm out. And so I think, and I see it happen, because I for years have been trying to talk to men and be like, the problem with what you're doing or why your behavior is toxic is this and this.
Yeah.
And as soon as I start talking, their walls go up,
Yeah.
and then it's like from over those walls they're like shooting out like, you know, bows and arrows at me.
So what's been super interesting about the work I do on like a day job formal level is like, you know, I get paid to try and change people's harmful ways of being, and it's usually around these rules and formulas and regulations of how a man should be and how a woman should be. And as you start breaking that apart, you go, oh, that's the reason inequality exists, and that's the reason violence exists, right? So I find that with this project, with Heard Not Seen, I'm not interested necessarily in changing people's minds. I'm very tired of those conversations.
No, 100%.
You know, and as you say, people just turn off.
Yeah.
And I've recently been starting to think, like, why do I need to go around changing people's ideas, belief systems, thoughts anyways? Like, why did I take that on? I shouldn't be doing that. I'm more interested in, like, people who want those conversations, who are up for it. Like, let's create a space for that. And I feel like that's such a different approach that might actually see more positive change in our communities. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also just so that you don't always feel like you're approaching it as like a fight. Like you're always, your mindset is, I need to change this person's mind, as opposed to, I'm just going to talk to this person and I feel like we agree on some things and let's just see where it goes.
Oh, this man is getting that, like, glazed look.
Yeah.
Never mind, moving on.
Exactly.
That's totally become
sort of
my
like,
attitude.
yeah,
it's
like
I'm going to explain to you what rape culture is because you've made it my job to explain it to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to people start paying me.
Yeah.
So basically, I want your job.
Do you guys want to swap jobs?
But you do kind of.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I do kind of.
You
but
do
I mean,
kind of. You're also in the same world.
I am in the same world, and I just tell you what, you're correct. You know what? I also stopped doing the let me explain to you about rape culture and misogynist conversations because, it was aging me. Like, I was literally aging.
It's tiring.
You get home and you're just like, why am I so mad? You know that fucker is at home sleeping beautifully.
Yeah.
And I'm just in my room like, ah! So I said, rather not. And this is why I came to this conclusion of, like, a podcast would be a nice way to also not only discuss, like, the heartbreaking stuff and the stuff that pisses us off, or, you know, but also the stuff that we can celebrate, you know?
Sure.
Another thing about feminism is that it also, in a sense, despite all our differences, is an umbrella where we can all be unified and celebrate each other as women from different cultures, races, backgrounds.
Sure.
And you know, and that kind of thing. So I think there's also that part we also need to
and also
contribute to.
And also people with different sexual orientations and backgrounds and identities and just, like, subvert, challenge, like, nobody said you have to be feminine.
Yeah.
Nobody said, you know, I mean they did say you have to. They
Yeah.
do, like,
But they were wrong.
Literally did. In fact, everyone said it. But you don't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's rough, you know, for people who are not paying attention to the rules. It's rough, and especially in Namibia.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I mean, like, obviously there's countries where it's worse, but
yeah,
I mean, I hate that we need, like, a nice big round of applause as Namibia, as an African country that kind of is inclusive about LGBTI, but doesn't even acknowledge.
But also, how inclusive are we when we still have sodomy laws?
No, we are not.
Like,
We are. I don't want any pats on the backs.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to, like.
We need to start again.
We need to, like, scratch everything and just be like, cool, can we just open the doors and let people live their lives? Thank you. Because, I mean, the sodomy laws are mad. I'm just
Take a deep breath. Have some champagne.
I need some champagne, thank you, to calm the nerves. Sorry for that noise. But, no, but I think we're not inclusive because the thing is, especially when it comes to heteronormative relationships, there's so many problems within that structure already.
Yeah.
And then, so now, and we have a very strange relationship with sex in this country. We're very conservative, but a huge plethora, I'm sorry, I'm using big words, a huge mountain of all our fucking problems
I love plethoras.
stem from sexual interaction.
Right? Like all humans.
Everything, you can just root it back to, like, sex. And the thing is, it's such a thing that is so not spoken about, and it's not open, and it's not enough information, especially for young people. And then there's, like, then it comes to sexuality, so I can't even talk about that if we're not talking about sex. It's a mess, guys.
Sure, I know.
So obviously, how are we as women? I mean, if you go out and you tell, like, I know I actually don't want to sleep with you, and he calls you a lesbian, you're like, cool, bro, I've changed my mind. Let's go.
Oh my gosh,
do you want to get this
sexy.
lesbian badge? Let's go.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, it's just, it's bizarre.
So it's, like, a very weird country.
Everyone is very concerned. Like, even amongst the so-called, like, liberal crowd of people that I feel like that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten to the age where people are like, it's so great that you're a feminist and you love being independent and you love to live alone, which I do. I never want to have someone in my house more than 12 hours at a time.
But when are you getting married?
But when are you going to get married? Don't you want to make your parents
like sex
happy?
dungeons.
And I'm like, wait, Brigit, elaborate. What's happening?
I'm just saying, you're saying that the conservative pressure on us is so conservative that your friends are not saying, oh my god, you're so freaking out there.
Yeah,
they're
like,
actually just saying you're single.
Don't you want to have a baby? It's so weird.
Like, do you want
See,
to
that's how bad it is.
That's
your
diary.
point. It's that bad. So, sodomy.
Yeah, I mean, so like sodomy is obviously something that, you know, even though we claim and we have all these NGOs that have sprung up that are fighting for LGBTQIA rights, it's like the laws still dictate that it's a crime and that it's something that should be feared and not accepted, which is obviously, how can we be inclusive if our laws don't even support people? People can't even have marriage.
We're not married. But what I meant by that is that I think our services, so if you go to like the Ministry of Health or they use this language around inclusive, and that's how they get around it. That is not good enough. I think that's all I meant. They don't even acknowledge some of them hardly even, like, key populations is the most they'll give you. I mean, come on.
No, true.
Just say
that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
We need to be specific about what we're talking about. Otherwise, how are you supposed to like solve, or not even solve the problem? It's not a problem, but I mean, how do you even begin to engage with the subject matter and the people who are affected by it if you keep going key populations, blanket statement?
No, but you know what? I think Afrobarometer said, and I don't know the exact. For those who don't know what the Afrobarometer is, it's a survey that goes across Africa. They recently did it in Namibia. And one of the questions was, how many Namibians would mind living next door a gay person, essentially? And I think it was like quite a nice, most people don't mind. So this huge homophobia in our country is not really that real. And I think it's coming, the youth, the younger generation, it's the old guard, man. They're holding
so
onto their
ways.
homophobia so, like, stuck.
Did you have a lot of faith in young people? I do not.
You don't think it's true? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think, I mean, I'm sure if the numbers say it, that's fine. But I also think that the problem is...
No, you don't stress the numbers.
I mean, we like to blame old people, but I think there's also a lot of, like, misinformation that is circulating around younger generations in this country. And I also think a lot of young people, like, let's say young people, I mean, from 20s to, like, 40s or whatever, if you want to use that gap. Maybe it should be split up. But, like, a lot of people are still manifesting the same behavior that the old people are doing in some shape or form. A lot of the young men I know are homophobic to some extent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and they make these jokes. It's all in the language of how people are using social media and how they're using WhatsApp and how they're discussing people who are other than them.
Yeah, sure.
And I think I wonder who did the survey, who they spoke to, how big...
Afrobarometer?
Yeah.
It's a pretty, like, wide-reaching. I think it's across all regions.
Really?
Yeah. They usually try
but
to...
But look, don't take that as a number.
Yeah.
It's not even worth... I'm just saying that there seems to be a changing tide, I think is all I'm saying. We have this idea sometimes that Namibia is an extremely don't even go there country. And I don't think necessarily it is. I think that there's a lot more acceptance that could be reflected better in our policies and laws.
No, we've come a long way, though. I mean, in the last 15 years.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm...
No, I mean, I think we're both wrong and we're both right. You know?
Oh, that's so beautiful, guys. Friendship.
All right.
No, look, I just think that what's interesting is I know that we have come a long way, but sometimes it feels like every time we've come a long way, something happens that it goes, oh shit, you know what? We actually haven't gone anywhere. If I'm thinking about that incident that happened in that bar, the guy got beaten up, and like you're in a room with like 200 or 200 people, and they're watching someone being beaten up because of their sexuality, or defending a friend who's being harassed, and no one does anything.
Yeah. Right.
That's an indication of, and that's 200 people.
So this is the problem with our government not sort of acknowledging LGBTQI.
It's because all this stuff can...
So something like gender-based violence is caused by our rigid ways of men should be and women should be, which group is going to like sort of step out of that the most, it's most likely that group.
Yeah.
So how does a ministry not acknowledge them?
Yeah.
How do we protect a whole group of people
that need protection if you're not going to talk about them?
I feel a little bit guilty because we're talking about without. None of us really identify as LGBT. So maybe we should chat. We'll do that. We'll chat. We'll definitely bring in some Namibian.
Yeah. We can get someone really cool and be like, also, sorry if we said anything stupid.
Yeah. We will educate ourselves.
We're humbly apologetic.
But I'd like to hear more opinions on where do we stand as a homophobic country.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Because
I feel like, I know personally for me, there was a lot of homophobia that I had just internalized just growing up the way I grew up. Even in quite a liberal community in terms of like the school I went to and like the social circles we were in. Even so, I had to like unlearn a whole lot of ridiculous stereotypes they were just ingrained in my mind as fact about the LGBTQIA community.
Sure.
And so like it's just, and when I think about all the work that had to go into like unlearning all of that stuff, I don't know that people, not that people don't want to put that work into it, but I don't know that people have the space and opportunity to put that work in. Because I know for me, I think I'm surprised when people are super, super conservative and homophobic or racist or whatever, because I have spent so much time in like circles where everyone's like, okay, so we all agree that racism is bad.
Yeah.
So let's just like go further. Let's take the conversation further, because I've spent so much time studying like sociology and politics and all that stuff. And so like the sort of hardcore racists and like homophobes get weeded out by the time you know as you go on.
Sure.
And so then when you go out into the sort of like real world where it's like, oh, not everyone thinks like you and went to like this super fancy private school and university.
Yeah.
And so like that's, I feel like where the problem is that you shouldn't have to go and get like a first class quote unquote education to be able to have these conversations. Like this should be the stuff that people are talking about in primary school.
100%. And instead of like PE, okay, I mean physical education is important, but instead of like guidance class or like needlework,
this is what guidance
guys,
should be actually.
fuck needlework.
Okay.
And put kids in like gender sensitivity classes.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it once with a bunch of school kids. The amount of kids who came to me after class and were just like, thank you.
Yeah.
And you could just see these light bulbs going up.
Right.
I was, remember how we were talking about the first time you actually start seeing patriarchy and social, like, is when you go to university. And we were just discussing, this is weird now because I'm re-having a conversation with you guys.
Yeah, that we've had
before just because of the podcast listeners. But for the listeners, we've had a conversation a couple days ago about how the first time often you kind of, how would you describe it? Like, the lights come on,
like
the screen comes down, it's like a rebirth.
It's like you take off your rose-colored glasses and you're like, oh, this is what everything actually
everything
looks
is terrible.
Yeah.
And it happened to all of us at university.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes. I mean, I had a mental breakdown at university, if you want to describe it as that.
Yeah.
But I remember just being like, I mean, it was definitely History 102.
Yeah.
Professor Cobbing.
Cobbing.
Did
you do that course?
Yes.
We all did the same course.
all
That's
did.
probably why we're here. We need to write to Cobbing.
Well,
it's like a decade in the making.
No, I had no idea we'd all done
but
that.
I saw it. I was
so.
in that class, and it was. I mean, this was just about like how we as a species are just terrible as people.
So can I just describe? So this course was literally the history of
the entire
everything.
world. Yeah.
The entire world.
It starts from Gaia.
From a Gaia theory to today.
Yeah.
And it's done in how long? Like one term?
It's a semester.
One semester.
It's one semester. It's pretty intense. And everything just goes, Bob Dwyer, we invented it to destroy other people in
and your
war.
mind is just blown.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But you realize that you're a piece of crap as a human being.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you realize that you're a fucking woman. And you're like,
and you're black.
And you're black. And you're like, Jesus,
it's like
take
all the
wheel.
best.
So yeah, that was the moment for me. But yeah, and what was it for you at Rhodes? Ooh, university. Fine, it's Rhodes University, Professor Cobbing. Shout out to you.
No, not shout out.
What?
Woohoo!
I personally
Drama.
Listen, I think that there's a way to be. He was a very knowledgeable man, and he shared a lot of important information. Was he the best teacher?
Was he friendly?
I don't care if he was friendly. I just
honest,
don't
I don't
think he was a great teacher. But
I
I learned
remember
a
his
lot from him.
content. I remember his content.
His content was great.
He rode a bicycle.
I don't want to. I don't. You know. I don't
Is
want
a
to.
teacher good if you don't even remember them?
there you go.
there's a question.
Exactly.
That's very
Philosophy.
true.
But if you remember their content, then I would say yes.
Yeah, probably
100%.
actually.
I don't remember any other
Like, I remember
content
everything.
like I remember that course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that course hard, and I remember politics, the one we did on sociology, which was like sort of gender, sex, and race. Blew my. That's also an exercise we should do one day. Actually, sorry. The course was basically just to. You had a diary that you kept with you for like a month or so. It was actually a semester. And each day you sort of write in a little entry looking at your gender, your sex, and your race.
Right.
And how you deal with that in the
And
world.
how you experience them.
And then at the end of the
Cool.
semester, you swap it around with each other in class. Anonymously.
Okay.
And then you read and you sort of do a paper on that person in terms of how they identify themselves.
Okay.
And I knew who I got. But anyway.
boring.
But it's an excellent exercise.
Yeah.
And it's
Why?
like, I think it's a great exercise because what I learned from that course was I got a straight white male
Okay.
who in my politics class was someone I considered, when you saw him from a distance, I didn't know him very well, but when you saw him, you just thought, that's the golden boy, you know,
Right.
like that guy, he's the tip of the
Got it
spear.
all.
Yeah.
You know, he's also a jock, but he's like Dean's List, he's, you know,
Yeah.
and then you read his journal and it's just anxiety across the board. He's not good enough, he has to try
that's so
hard,
see?
and I would never have, because I don't think of white males as people who have problems,
Right.
I don't ever
I
do.
think,
I really
yeah,
don't.
no, it's
I mean,
correct.
and I read that and I was like, oh my god, I mean, still not problems, but it's so sad.
Yeah.
You feel that way.
Still not problem. But I think that is actually something that I'm very interested in exploring a little bit more, like the white male.
Yeah.
Like we're it's time for the white male to listen.
Yes.
Like that's evidence.
They're not listening, Brigit.
I know. but I don't know. It's interesting. Like
Yeah.
they need, you know.
But someone needs to take them into a separate room or like a play date. And it needs to be like the alpha white male, like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
No, it's terrible.
Like whoever their leader is. And like, it needs to be like, but you need to get the leader and be
Yeah.
like, you know, be like, dudes, we can't do this
like
anymore.
the pecking order.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a pecking order. That's look at every like
it's
white old
interesting
boy
how we
school.
always say men will listen to men.
Men will listen to men.
That's why all the men feminists.
Yeah.
Is that,
The male
I
feminist.
don't like male female though. It's like a whole thing which we don't have time for.
The
But fine.
feminists.
The men. No.
No, those are men who are fighting for their own rights.
Exactly. Which I'm like, you already have them.
Wait, let's go there. You don't like male and female?
I don't like using the words male and female. Male is like fine because people take the word male to be an adjective, which is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But people use the word female to refer to women, and that irritates me when they're like, you know how females are, or like, and it just makes me feel uneasy. So because I don't want to say female, I can't say male. I feel like I can't say male, but at the same time, I'm like, am I overthinking this? Because I think for the majority of people, it's like it doesn't really matter. But in my mind, I'm like,
sure. And I get to all kinds of pitfalls and problematics because I feel like male and female is not connected to what one identifies with.
yeah, it definitely isn't.
So men and women,
Yeah.
I also can't just, if I really want to be honest with myself, I also can't just...
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, you're right. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
The only adjective you can use is you.
You or they, them.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
But male feminists,
Male feminists, men feminists, male feminists.
Let's call them men feminists.
Men
Got it.
feminists.
We're with you now.
Okay.
Men feminists.
They need to go and they need to somehow ascend to the top of the pecking order. It's none of my business how they do it. And then collect all of their dudes and take them on this play date and explain to them.
Because they're not listening
Yeah,
to
like
us.
for me, that is the main...
No, exactly.
that male
Men need
feminists
to
can play.
to talk to other men.
Yeah.
Because men only listen to other men.
Yeah.
Because when we do it, we're angry, we're pissing them off, we're threatening them. Because
We're
I promise you
lesbian,
something.
whiny.
There's nothing scarier to a man than not aggressive, but like an outspoken woman.
Yeah.
Like you can see them go, oh my god, it's happening. No, and you're like, make it stop, mom. You know, and because I'm that person, so I see it in their eyes, and I'm like, oh.
It's how my mom gets stuff done. She just causes chaos, and like I've literally seen her get through a border without a passport because she was like chaos, loudness, and they were like, make it stop, just go, it's fine, just go. You are so right.
Yes.
No, it's true. So yeah, play date. So guys, whoever the men feminists,
If you're out there,
listening, if you're out there, please, we will give you our information will be out there at the end of this situation. But please let us know. We can help you organize the play date. We can.
I personally will not be doing that.
I will not be attending, but I mean, I'm also not a
I don't know
white
why
male.
you're also like selling us as like experts in
Like
the field.
consultants.
No. What we're doing is we're just trying to create.
No,
trying to create a
I think
storm.
that like what I think you're trying to say is men feminists out there, listen.
Do what's right.
And help other men listen.
Yeah.
And that's actually all.
And and speak up when you see shit happening.
We're not organizing any of it.
We're not doing a training.
I would love for you guys to organize your own thing and then take a picture and send it to us, and we'll be like, cool.
I have a full-time job. I'm so sorry.
But I did a lot of work with some fantastic men femmes.
Yeah, you know, I know who you're referring
There's
to.
Some great,
and he should be a guest one time.
He will, and he should be.
Yeah,
I can't say he will be, but it would be cool.
Yeah.
But so I worked very closely with male engagement people.
Yeah.
And they get it.
Yeah, they're out there, and there's not enough of them.
And the reason this group or even individual gets it so much is because he gets that it's not about getting men's rights out there as well. Because sometimes that's where it gets all confusing. Mm-hmm. It's like, what about the men? And men also suffer from GBV. And. No, it's about men acknowledging that women need support and help. And women need us to acknowledge the situation. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. It's acknowledgement and listening.
100%.
Yeah.
And also men need to be better. And also, I'm so sorry, you were saying.
No, I just wanted to say that we completely got off the point because Brigit was supposed to say when she was like, oh, feminism.
Yeah, Brigit.
Oh, sorry.
But like,
no,
obviously it's all free and it's natural.
I'm not wearing any clothes.
Bring it back. When was the moment? You know what? I've been thinking about that a bit recently because I think you asked me.
Yeah.
And a week or two ago. And I don't know. I think from a very young age already, sorry, brother and father, but I always felt a little bit like I also want to be taken seriously in the cricket game. You know, I had an amazing father and brother who did take me to the cricket game, and I was involved and I was playing, but there was always the little jokes of like catch like a girl, throw like a girl. Yeah. And then I think it's just my personality. I wanted to do the stuff boys were doing, and when I went to university I was more interested in having guy mates and friends, and so I've always just kind of been a little bit like sort of jealously watching what I wasn't included in.
Do you feel like you sometimes seek approval from men? Not in terms of you but I mean in terms of like your opinions and in terms of your, you know, like, oh, I do know about cricket.
I used to definitely as a kid, like, I've liberated myself from that a little bit now. Yeah. Like, I'm over it. But definitely as a teenager and a kid, I was like, I know things about rugby, and I'd like literally go study the rugby team. And like, please, can I be part of your club? Yeah. And I don't know why I wanted to be so part of the boys' club. Yeah.
Because it's exclusionary.
And it looks fun.
So dope from the outside. And you get in there and you're like, oh, you're all horrible to each other. Like,
they're not though.
No.
They do have fun. And I did manage to. And I also, as a response, I didn't always love hanging out with girls. Yeah. I found it a bit boring.
Yeah, but sometimes girls talk about weird shit, man.
Exactly. I mean, as I've gotten older, I find nothing more important than sisterhood.
100%.
And like the right kind of woman, they're the best. There's nothing better than a good girlfriend. A couple good girlfriends. But yeah, I didn't do the whole Barbie's makeup, gossiping. I hate gossiping. I didn't do the girly stuff very well. And I think that's all kind of part of these rules and regulations that are holding us back and causing harm. It's like, what's so bad with a girl who wants to play cricket? Yeah. And if you do, why do you have to get teased for it? Yeah. And that's like a tiny little oh boo hoo story compared to somebody who's like born butch. Yeah. Identifier, wants to wear a black tie to prom night or matric farewell, but nobody's gonna let her. Yeah. You know, it goes deep.
Yeah, no, it does.
It's real.
And also, you were an excellent hockey goalie.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have mad reflex skills.
You were mostly like hair and pads.
Again, the funniest joke for anyone, and it was hilarious. But like goalie Brigit. Yes. I mean, like it's the most unfeminine.
Yeah. Dude, but you kick ass, man.
I freaking loved it. And part of being a goalie is like your coach is like, if somebody comes into your circle, you're knocking them out.
Yeah.
Oh. And
that sounds fun.
You'd like slide them, and you're like padded up, and so you're like
fearless
chicks come at you with balls and sticks. It's freaking scary. Yeah. And I'd like slide, and hopefully they wouldn't kill me, and I would knock them out, hopefully, or they'd get a goal. And then every single time, because I'm not that I'm not that kind of like masculine, but I've got that like sort of side to me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'm so sorry, are you okay? Are you okay? Can I help you up? I'm so sorry. And the goalies are usually like,
bite your head off.
like, she's coming, okay, go. Anyways, I think that was sort of the beginning. And then it tied up with a slow sort of social conscious and a social justiceness. And so feminism and equality became a kind of an area for me that I just took on as my thing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful,
Committed to
Brigit.
it.
You tell a story so well. Thank you.
I wish you guys could see Brigit. There's a lot of hand motions, a lot of physical acting.
Yes.
It's really...
She's very animated in the face.
She is.
It's
It's
like-
a whole new dimension.
She's wonderful.
She is.
But we're done with her now.
Okay, cool.
And do you?
It's my turn.
Yes, Bambi.
Hey.
Tell me your stories,
Oh,
girl.
We're doing Bambi?
I don't know.
Do I have really big eyes?
Look, I just say words. They come out of
Sure.
my mouth. I
And
can't
I'm
control
proud of
them.
you.
Thank
and
you.
I respect you.
So feminism to you, how did it come to you?
Feminism.
How did the religion come to you?
Oh yes, how did I begin to worship at the altar of feminism? Do you know? So when I originally went to university, it was for an accounting degree because I thought I was going to be an accountant.
No.
I know.
It's like saying you want to wear grey for the rest of your life.
I love grey.
Ew.
We love accountants.
Yeah, I know some accountants that I like.
Accountants, I didn't mean it. I just meant
You just lost us all of our listeners.
all our accountants. Because I have numbers in me.
No, well, the thing is, I do like accounting. I like maths. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's cool. But accounting just wasn't for me. But then I also had, like, a mental breakdown. So then, like, they just coincided. So I was at home for a year, and I was working somewhere in town. And I remember I was walking to the bank to go get something, and literally 4 teenage dudes surrounded me from all sides, and they all just, like, groped me. In the middle of town, guys, like lunch hour, as we were crossing, you know where the clock tower is, and you're crossing to
Yeah,
the post
it's
office?
very public.
Yeah, and I was like, what's happening? And everyone was like, and minded their business. But then I was just like, okay, that's probably fine. And then I just went about my business and, like, essentially forgot about it until actually just now.
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
yeah, like, I completely blocked it out. But the thing I remember specifically is when I went back to university, I was at Wits. No, I wasn't at Wits. Was I at Wits? Wherever I was. I went back to university, and it was, like, a week, which is usually just an excuse for people to get super, super drunk. And I would go out with all the other first years, and we'd, like, go to these, like, ridiculous parties where they would sell you, like, 2 rand vodka shots because they were just like, let's get everyone as fucking drunk as possible.
Yeah.
Don't send your kids to university. It's just not, it's not safe.
Online. Only
Like,
online.
online.
university.
Homeschool everyone, guys. It's not safe out there. And when I was, like, we were going out, and my friend was like, oh, get out your other SIM card. And I was like, what other SIM card? And she's like, the one that we have to give guys fake numbers so that when they call us, they can see that it, like, the call goes through and they don't get angry. And I was like, oh, is that a thing that we do? And everyone's like, yeah. So everyone had 2 separate SIM cards, and before we went out, we would always change SIM cards because
That is
guys would get
insane.
so aggressive. And I was like, I remember thinking very distinctly, like, I don't actually want to go if that's what's gonna happen.
100%.
I'm not into
And I was
this.
like, this is not cool. Why is everyone so, like, it's so normal? And then I was like, oh, it's because, like, men are not nice a lot of the time. And I was like, feminism. Yeah, the end.
You had a religious experience. That's
Yeah, I did. That was really a time when I was just like, oh, all the stuff that people want to do, and
Yeah,
like,
these
let's
things
go
are
talk to
real.
boys at the bar. I was like, but why, guys? It's terrible. All you do
Yeah.
is come back and complain about it, but why are we doing it?
No,
And it
100%.
was
I mean, I really want
bizarre.
to, like, at some point link in this Twitter thread that happened a couple of weeks ago, where the First Lady also got involved. But this woman on Twitter just posted a question saying, Namibian women, tell me of your experiences with men. That was basically what she wrote. And everything was, it could have been positive, it could have been whatever. Everything was completely negative.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like all these terrible stories of, like, men trying to find ways to isolate women or assault them, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, and then at the same time, you'd have men come into the Twitter thread being like, what you should have done in that situation is. And every woman was like, no, you don't need to explain. Because every woman at this stage of life is already a spy. Like, I walk into a place, I know where the exits are. I'm like, what can I use as a makeshift weapon? Like, that's how your brain works 24/7.
Sure.
And it's a terrible thing that you have to grow up to think like that. But you're not safe. And, like, this SIM card thing, I wish I'd known.
Yeah.
Because
Dude,
it's unfortunate that you have to do those things. It's like anti-rape devices.
Exactly.
Please don't rape people.
Just don't do that, maybe.
So there's this great exercise that I've done in communities and with different groups and with mixed groups and men groups. But it's, if you're doing with a mixed group with men and women, you ask the group, what do you do? No, first you ask the men, what do you do on a daily basis to protect yourself from sexual violence or assault?
Yeah.
And the hands will go up, and it'll be like jokes and this and that, and then they'll start getting frustrated usually, and they'll try very hard to get something. I can't think of any examples right now. But most of them are just, they're not really going to go up on this list because I've got like my flip chart next to me.
Yeah.
Until somebody says, I avoid to get arrested, I'm scared of jail, I'm scared of rape in jail.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, fair enough, and that gets written up on the board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll turn to the women in the group and I'll be like, what do you do on a daily basis to protect yourself from sexual... It's a goosebump, like terrifying moment. The hands are flying, and it's like I wake up in the morning and I think about what I'm going to wear. I think about what taxi I'm going to take. I think about which road I got to take. I plan my day so I'm not stuck in the dark. I plan my day so I'm not standing in a quiet road. I make sure I'm not alone with my boss. I make sure I'm not alone with my uncle. I make sure I'm not alone here. There is not enough paper. And the men in this room just are like dead quiet. And usually with the feedback after the exercise, it's just like, usually the men go, I had no idea. You know, and this is what we're talking about as this listening.
I think they don't have an idea. That's the thing.
And they don't listen because they're like, but why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you think of this? Or,
it's like we've
and as you said,
that.
you walk into a room looking for the exits. Like, that is our lives. You know, that's the problem. You come in sweeping like, oh my God, why did you not see that coming? Like, also, why do we have to live in a world like that?
Like, I didn't want to... I wanted to grow up to be James Bond, but I didn't want to be James Bond. And now I have this specific set of skills. I have... You see what I did there?
I loved it. Thank you.
No, but like, it's true and it's hectic. But I also think that what I've learned from this is that I think the problem also is why men don't listen to women is that... Or women like me, specifically, is that I think... I'm coming from like so many years, as long as I've been alive, of repressed anger and lack of expression and all of that. And I'm dealing with this fear and this intensity and this, this exit strategy at all time. So by the time a man opens his mouth, I'm sometimes just I'm like, just say it. I know you're going to fuck up. Say it. And then I'm like, yes! And it's like, and it's terrible because at the same time, like you say, sometimes they don't have any idea. But I mean... Guys, it's 2018, and like the internet is your friend, and like I say, like,
but that's what.
And if so many women have been talking about this for centuries, and you as a man think it's not your responsibility to educate yourself, especially when you have mothers, sisters, girlfriends, daughters, whatever, and you want to walk around with pure ignorance this whole time and say, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't think that's a realistic approach.
Exactly. And I mean, like, circling back. I'm not moving on. Oh, you don't get it? Moving on.
Exactly.
Next ally.
100%.
You know? Are you an ally? No? Okay, moving on. And, we've got to still have these conversations with our decision makers and our especially, like, the traditional authorities, like, religious leaders in our country. Like, these are conversations
health
that need to be happening.
Yeah, it's a lot of health practitioners, educators, psychologists. Guys, just service industry. Because, it's just across the board. If you're a woman, you are slut-shamed a lot in most service spaces. You're also not taken seriously in most service industries as well. A man will come in and they're like, yes, sir. And you're kind of like, hi. Because I wasn't aggressive and I didn't walk in on my cell phone and just skip the line, you're going to ignore me. And the police as well. Like, I'm so sorry, but they don't protect... this protection order bullshit that we have is unacceptable and needs to stop. That does not stop someone from breaking into your house and still killing you.
No, we can.
So I'm sorry. I have this piece of paper.
No, but the protection order doesn't even get delivered.
No, it doesn't. 100%.
No, but
and it might spur the man on when he actually receives it. It's like, oh, this bitch, let's go.
Some military guys drove past me the other day. Now, these are servicemen. Paid by our government, paid by my tax money to protect us. Pulled over the other day, asking me for my phone number.
What were you wearing, Brigit?
I was doing...
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Brigit. Were you wearing that red lipstick?
Yeah, I was probably asking for it.
It's like it's...
Really? Your number was your hair down. The thing is, no one can resist the hair. No, I'm kidding. But that's fucking terrible.
No, that's not okay.
No,
and that feeling of... Because, like, I was also driving, I stopped at a robot, and the police car pulled up next to me, and they were saying, like, pull over. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like, something's wrong with my car. Like, you don't want to just say no to the police.
Yeah.
And I'm in my car by myself, so I'm like... there's no one I can be like, hey, like, just take note of what they're not, like, whatever. And these guys literally, like, pull me over to be like, hey, where are you going? Like, can I get you? They're trying to pull me over to be like, can I get you? Like, they roll down their window.
The police.
Yeah. And because I drive, my license plate is a
Did you
different.
Get angry? Did
No,
you
I literally was so scared.
Cannot get angry.
I froze, and then he said, roll down your window. So I said, I rolled down my window, and he's like, pull over, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's just like, no, where are you going? We just want to talk to you. And then the light turned green, and I just drove away.
Sure.
Like,
so this is one of the things I constantly like have a battle in my head about, like, how do you respond?
Yeah.
What's the best thing to do? Okay, so let me draw you a scenario.
Okay.
And moving away from service providers, but just general, like, non-asked for attention in the streets.
Yeah.
So I pull up at outside a mall, and there's one of those guys helping you to put your ticket in. And thank you very much. And I put the ticket in, and just before I drive away, he like sucks his teeth. You know that, like, oh. And I literally, I never know if I must be like, you. Like, who do you think you are? You have no right to talk to me like that. Blah, 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 blah. Or if I must be like, he wants you to respond. Yeah. Be like, show him no change. Or wink back. Like, what? How do I get back the power? I never know. Like, what do you do?
I've started doing this thing where I usually only do it when I'm on the phone with someone, because I'm like, there's someone on the phone in case I get murdered that I can be like, I am at the corner or whatever,
it's also that element of fear.
Yeah, but I literally, like, if someone's giving me unwanted attention, either I'm just like, no, very loudly to them, or if someone's like looking at me, like, I'll just be like, I don't know you, and then I just walk away. But it's literally only if I'm on the phone with someone, because I'm like, what if they get mad and like try to stop me? Because usually I just like, I
and
ignore
that's the thing.
it, and
I can't really
go
always
away.
respond like with the anger I want to.
Yeah, the anger is what, it's what got me slapped by a security guard once.
You really,
you 100%.
See, we've all got these stories.
The thing is,
what happened?
Okay, so the story goes that once again, it always comes back to urination.
Well, our listeners don't know that.
The first time
okay, no, I have an obsession with public peeing and why men can do it and women can't, but that's a story for another time. Maybe its own topic. But, yeah, so it was years ago, and, like, we were coming out of a club or something, and, like, we were waiting for a dialer cab to take us home, and literally, I needed to pee because the cab was taking its time. And so I was, like, trying to get back inside the club, and they were like, no, you can't get back in. And I was like, oh my god. So I decided to go and pee in the parking lot, like, in the darkest corner, behind the last car, whatever, so that I'm not, like, displaying my lady bits publicly, God forbid. And, I finish, I get up, and, like, the security guard comes over and he's like, Meme, you can't do this here. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I really need to pee. I'm so sorry, there was no alternative. I'm so sorry. He's like, you're so disgusting. What kind of woman does that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm really sorry. Like, I really need to pee. Like, what was the choice? I had to pee on my pants. And as I'm saying that, he slaps me in the face.
Jeepers.
And, like, just walks off and yells and whatever. And, like, I'm shocked because, like, I'm just like, oh my god. Like, it was a really hard slap as well. And I'm holding my face, and I kind of slowly walk back to my friends. And I'm kind of like, and my friend was a male, sort of like, what just happened? And I was like, that guy just slapped me. And, like, literally, we started, like, my friend started yelling at this guy to be like, you can't hit a woman, you can't put your hands on her. And the guy was like, fuck you guys, I'm calling the cops. And you know what's messed up? We left because we knew that if the cops came, they would ask me why were you peeing in the parking lot in the first place. When this is something that men do all the time.
Constantly.
So this is what I'm saying about
I mean, how many people did you see peeing on the street on your way here?
Oh my god, I saw a little boy. It was very distressing. But shame. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah.
So those were good times, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, okay, so...
But on a lighter note, I mean, we are trying... Despite everything is burning.
We're hoping the next episode will be more fun.
Yeah. I mean, just we have to start in heavy and then we'll go light, you know?
I don't know. We haven't been that heavy, have we?
No, we haven't.
But you guys can let us know. Flipping the script. It's challenge day.
So we had this idea to do a challenge for every episode where we essentially flip the script and do something that men would normally do to women that were like, that's weird, and see how it feels for us to try and take the reins, take the power.
Take the power back.
Exactly.
Or the stupidity.
Or the stupidity.
Let's try it all out.
Women can be done, Brigit. You're allowed.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so this week's challenge, who wants to outline it?
I want to talk about the setup because I don't want to talk about the failure.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, yeah, spoiler, we failed.
Spoiler alert. We will admit it. I think so. This week's challenge was for us to send some drinks to
A table of men.
and sort of, when they receive it, we give them the nod.
The nod.
Yeah.
Like the wink, the
Yeah,
nod.
the wink,
Just
or like
be like,
whatever,
we're here
or
giving
like,
you drinks for free.
Shake our
Why are we
breasts.
shaking?
I don't
was
know.
doing that, actually.
We are the gift givers.
We are the gift givers, and so here's my womb, have it. And so,
Wow, I've never heard anyone say that sentence in my life. Thank you so much.
No, that's what you should say. That scares people.
Here's my womb.
And so, Brigit, what happened?
Okay, so my sort of experience of this was first we had to choose the table.
Yeah.
So this was something I'd never really experienced before. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we will...
Let's choose
look at men.
We
Let's
will
rank
look-
these men.
Exactly. I don't know why. I know some women do it, so I don't want to be like generalize all women. But
Yeah.
for me, it was an experience I'd never actually overtly, directly done.
Yeah.
Like, And
Like,
so
I
we,
want that one.
and we did. We
Yeah.
started getting a little bit like we got a little bit gross.
It was
Yeah.
very judgmental.
We
Was
got
it-
a bit like not gross as in sexually.
No, but like...
But we got gross.
Like
Not that
nitpicky.
anything sexual
Yeah.
is usually not gross.
Although there's a very smooth boy.
Sex- Sexuality
can I
is
talk
fun.
About the smooth boy?
Okay.
He's mine.
All right. So that's just where like my intro. These two will show you where it went probably.
Oh. Okay.
but we definitely were like, oh, okay. What about those ones? And what
Yeah.
about those ones? And I don't really like that one. And that one doesn't. So we started. It was a weird experience for me.
Yeah.
But even just like, because my back was to them, so I had to keep turning around to look at them, and I kept being like, oh my god, they're gonna see that I'm looking at them, and then maybe they'll think I want to talk to them, and I definitely don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, long story short, we didn't send them drinks, but I would like to say that I allowed myself to go down a path that I
Usually
Yeah.
don't
I
allow
usually
yourself
don't
to.
allow myself to. There was a table with two young gentlemen.
Smooth youths.
One of them was extremely smooth. I cannot
She
stress
means
that.
like literally.
He was literally the smoothest boy I've ever seen. Young man. I mean, not say boy, because that sounds horrible. So these are two young gentlemen in their 20s, maybe. And my one, the one I enjoyed, was wearing a beautiful summer short. It's winter, by the way, but,
Yes.
These were white people.
White people don't get
They
cold in
don't
their legs and
understand
arms.
what
It's
is
a fact.
weather. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
they
up
don't
with
get it. As long as their core is warm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was wearing a beautiful short, and beneath that was the most smooth, pale, milky white calf I've ever seen in my life, and I was transfixed. I don't know what it was. It's never happened to me
Oh my
before.
God.
Bridget is like disgusted.
I'm not disgusted. It was hilarious. What
No.
did you want to pour?
I wanted to. So what I wanted to do, you know, when it's
Tell us, girl.
you know, in the winter time, you wake up, you make your tea, a little bit of lemon in there. You want to put some honey in, but the honey is cold because it's winter. You know,
Yeah, you gotta
so
warm that
wanted
honey
to.
up.
I wanted to gently warm some honey, maybe in a little warm water bath, and just let it trickle down his smooth cough.
Wow.
Just aesthetically, I felt that it would have been enjoyable.
That's art.
No, and
It-
she's not
it was
making this
art.
up on the spot, everyone.
Yeah.
This happened in the restaurant.
Yeah, she literally told us that
yeah.
in the restaurant.
I said it
While
several
looking
times.
at this
Well, I
movie.
said it, and then I said it to Brigit, and then you were in the bathroom, and then you came back, and I was like, Paleni, I have to tell you, I don't want to pour honey on this young man's leg.
Hold me back.
Oh my gosh, it was so smooth. It looked hairless. Just completely smooth.
No,
So,
we-
yeah.
I think what's interesting about that story is that your imagination is wild.
Thank you.
And they were smooth youths, and it's fine. And interestingly, we didn't choose that table because
We didn't.
You know what? I'm thinking about it now. They would have been like the less threatening.
They would have been.
But that's why we didn't.
Yeah.
Because Brigit was the one who was like, "What about those guys?" And it was literally 3 black men and one guy with an afro comb
The beautiful
still
afro
in his fro.
in there.
And I remember going, "Oh, that's it."
I was
That's
like,
the
I
one."
know those dudes. I don't
should-
know
I
them
know those
personally,
dudes.
but I
Oh,
know
did
those
you know
dudes.
that?
No, I didn't know them, but I'm like,
Oh, you know the type.
I know, yeah. Like I could
Well,
be...
what would have happened?
I think, you know what? I think it actually would have gone well. We would have
Yeah.
sent them the drink. They would have been like, "Oh, cool." They would have come over, joined us. We would have had
Oh, that's the
love.
last thing we would have wanted, though.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, or not. Friendship.
Or not.
Yeah, but I think they would have just been like,
Friendship.
oh, thanks for the drink, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you don't,
we do it?
You don't, because we're not trained for this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Sorry.
don't know how to do this.
We failed at our challenge.
Yeah, we're not
Next
aggressors, but we will learn.
We'll do
I
it
think
next
I
week.
succeeded because I had a beautiful
Fantasy?
imagination.
You did. You had a
I
proper,
did.
like,
I went through a
objectifying.
real... Yeah.
You are the real
for
winner.
me,
Real objectified.
thank you.
Well done.
I am a winner. And it was organic honey, just so you know.
So, for the first episode of Heard Not Seen
Yes.
challenge,
We
Ndapwa
failed.
won.
Ndapwa won,
Thank you so much.
and I failed.
I'd like
I
to
failed
thank my
too.
parents. Well, I actually don't want to thank my parents.
Thank
because
the
they'd
Academy.
be so ashamed that they were like, we didn't raise you to think about pouring honey on boys. Raise, go to
I
school.
feel like you're going to jail.
I'm definitely going to jail, dude. It's fine. Yeah,
cool.
so, but next episode we'll have a different challenge. We're going to work really hard.
We're
time.
gonna.
Wait, no, is it a surprise?
Well, it might be a surprise, but it's going to be spicy.
Oh, is it?
Saucy, a little bit racy. Maybe lives will be lost.
Wait,
Who knows?
Cool. Dun, dun, dun.
Love
So,
it.
I mean, I think we've really...
We need like a sign-out line.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say,
Over and out.
well, or,
No. Feminism.
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 Down with patriarchy. Yes.
Women come first.
Okay.
We all just yell slogans and then we just fade out.
Yo, 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 yo.
All right, everyone, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Lisa for the music, as always, and Carl for all his production work.
Follow us at Heard Not Seen Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and email us at heardnotseenpod@gmail.com if you have any thoughts, any fun stories, any comments on the show. See you guys in 2 weeks.